Hello and welcome folks to Agathos Flight School. It has been quite some time since we had gameplay footage on my channel and I decided to show you a little first play with this IAR-81C, a new premium plane lately added to War Thunder. I find the plane pretty neat looking. That is the only reason I bought it. I did not go and see any reviews how it performs. It just looks very appealing with that long nose and almost looking like a mid-wing plane you see with that thick wing here attached a little further on top of the fuselage. And I flew it against the Russians, and we will show two fights. Not much to say about this. You will see how I perform. I can talk how I feel the plane behaves. I painted 5 stars here on because in my first sortie, in the first battle I did, I actually managed to kill 5 Russians in this plane without getting shot down. Sadly, I forgot to save all replays, only the last one, because when I first took off with the plane I noticed, you forgot to save your trim settings, and so I had to leave the match, re-enter it with a good trim preset, and then I did my last 2 kills. So this also gives me a good opportunity to talk a little bit about the latest sound changes in War Thunder, but enough time spent in the hangar. Let's go to the replay. And here we are, sitting in the plane with its very long nose. Very bad view on the runway, but we get it into the air anyway. What can I say about the sound changes in 1.79 of War Thunder? What is really nice is that they finally changed the sound settings so that I show you this with other players' engine volume set to 100%. You no longer hear anyone when your engine is running and your canopy is closed. So finally you can boom and zoom with full power without being detected. On the other hand, I noticed there are quite some issues with the new sounds. For me especially, the landing sounds. You know, landings are something I find very important because, at least as I know it, all pilots in the world, all real-life pilots are judged by their ability to land, and so I really try to properly land every time I go in War Thunder, and when I do so, I try to set the plane down very softly, but nevertheless, even with my best tries, the sound of landing currently applied in War Thunder sounds like you're breaking something on the gear, especially when you're landing on a concrete runway. It really sounds like your tires, rims, your gear struts, something is breaking and is pulled over the runway. Really bad sound. So what, now that we sit in this plane, what can I say about this plane? It feels strangely underpowered when you are sitting in it. You don't have the feeling that there is much coming from the engine. But on the other side, which is kind of strange, is that the plane, even without setting it to full throttle, I'm currently going at roughly 90% throttle, I can keep a decent climb rate of almost 10 meters a second, which is pretty good at battle rating 2.7, and also the turn time given in the info panel is something like 21.7 seconds or something like that. I have the feeling the plane gets it its nose around strangely quick. It seems to be able to really hold a relatively high turning speed, indicated airspeed, and at that point it really makes degrees per second. Probably really not the best slow turner at that battle rating, but really the nose feels like it really comes around very quick, and this can also be increased by use of combat flaps in the plane. So far I fought I think a couple of LA5s, Yak 1s, and I did not really have a problem staying on their back in the plane. Okay, it's only 5 kills, so who knows, but interesting to say it. And what I also, even in a fight against an I-16 or I-15, I have the feeling that I could actually stay with the other guy, but I was struggling with the not set trim there. And what you now see here ahead of me, couple of players, pretty solidly filled up map, and I'm going to one of the attack points where air supremacy is to be achieved, and there I will attack some of the Russians. Let's do a quick forward to that. And here we are much closer to the fight. Overall it dragged down to the deck, and what I find interesting, for some reason I don't know, it's the first time since patch 1.77 that brought that blurry dots. I'm actually looking at a flat screen replay and not flying in virtual reality. I find it strange that in full HD the dots are looking so sharp, and they are not really looking bad, so it seems the scaling issue with VR. And there you see I approach an enemy ahead. One thing I also have to take care of is that my pilot is actually a newbie here in this plane, and so sometimes it may be a little bit hard to pull Gs. And there we have an enemy. I fall in behind him, go up, and he pulls his nose up too high and stalls out, and so I come in and jump him. And there he goes down. Now I check my 6, and I'm really amazed of how this looks in full HD with those sharp tiny little dots. Seems really a pure virtual reality issue with those blurry large dots you see all around. And now I saw a couple of dots behind me, and not sure where all my friendlies were. I decided to go away, and then I see that guy closing in, and I guess it's not a friendly in the air, it is an LA5. And then I go in a rolling scissors. And in virtual reality I actually had him in view. There you see him. I now have gained, you know, he's now in front of my 3 to 9 line. And now I just try to not stall out and keep the plane going. And he also has a friendly on his tail. And so now he's under pressure. And you see the friendly overshot, giving me the opportunity to stay on that LA. There some hits went in. One trouble with the IAR is the wing-mounted cannons. where you have to try to be actually at the convergence distance. Then I hit something, thought it was a kill, but no, he's still flying around. In virtual reality I could hardly see him in front of those trees. The friendly again overshot. And now when he settles down, I actually got him burning. Now I throttle back and he's down. Finally I got the kill. And so I really don't know how this plane performs. I felt this a strange combination of feeling on one side totally underpowered, and on the other side feeling a very how can I say it? Energy keeping, very turny, very funny plane so far. The cannons are maybe one of the strongest points at battle rating 2.7. You have two MG-15120s with the air belts. You really can triple the planes flying around. And now, as always, I decided to return. I'm almost out of cannon ammunition. You know, I'm not the best shot. And so let's do a quick forward to the landing. And as usual, I approached the airfield pretty low on the deck. And then, throttling back, I climbed up to roughly 1,000 feet above the field elevation, above ground level, checking for traffic. And you know, I always try to land in the proper direction, something I did so far not encounter, although it should be active on during confrontation maps, is wind. I would really like to do a crosswind landing tutorial for War Thunder, but so far I could not find wind in this game. Maybe have to do that in IL-2. And here I throttle back. Correct altitude. Coming around. Flaps and gear fully down. Coming around in a wide left-hand turn. It allows me to view what is happening down there. As usual, I try to aim for the threshold. The speed so far, it's my, you know, not my third sortie with a plane, and I guess I could fly it to the ground even 10 miles slower. And there softly it settles down. Interestingly, in the replay I don't hear any landing sound. Landed successfully with this neat little premium plane. I will also be very excited to see how good it actually is for farming credits. Because, you know, one point for me always is that Zim overall does not really yield large sums of money, which really hinders your progress. For instance, I have completely researched anything in Tier 4 of the Americans because I fly the P-51D so often. But I can actually not afford, really, with this sum of money, I cannot really afford to buy my way through to one of the good jets. And this is a little bit discouraging. And this little plane here is one of the tries I do. Maybe it allows me to have some fun farming some credits. I'm not really high currently playing War Thunder a lot because real life flying gets more interesting. Maybe you will see something about that here in a couple of weeks if everything goes well. Um, anyway, I say hope you enjoyed this little quick look at the IAR-81C, this little premium plane, and how I did with it in War Thunder and during confrontations. Always happy hunting and happy landing, folks, and see you here in the future at Agathos Flight School. Bye bye!